Hi everyone, and thanks for watching my online lesson on index laws. So the first law that I'm going to talk about is the multiplying law. So this question says simplify m cubed multiplied by m to the power of 6. Now if you think about what m cubed is, that's m times m times m. And then I'm multiplying this by m to the power of 6, which is m times m times m times m times m times n. There we go, and I'm multiplying these two things together. So if you look, I've actually just got, in total, I've got 9 m's that are being multiplied together. So this can be written as m to the power of 9. And actually all I'm doing here is adding the two indices together. So all I've got to do is look at the powers. I've got a 3 and a 6 and add these, and that gives me my 9. The next rule is for division. So here I have p to the power of 8 and it's as a fraction, so it's divided by p squared. Now this time if I were to write out all of my p's, so p to the power of 8, I'd need 8 p's multiplied together, and p squared would just be p times p. Because it's divide, it means that they're going to cancel each other out. So I have 2 p's on the bottom, that's going to cancel out with 2 of the p's that are on the top. So I'm left with, on the top, p to the power of 6. So all I have to remember is that when I've got a division, I actually subtract the indices. So I do 8 subtract 2, which is 6. So that's p to the power of 6. When you have something in a bracket, like here, I have 2n cubed, and that is in a bracket to the power of 4. There's sort of two different things you have to remember. The first one is that if there's any numbers, so here I have a 2, that 2 gets raised to the power of 4. So I have to work out what is 2 to the power of 4. So that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which is 16. So I'm going to write down 16. And then as for the powers themselves, I have a 3 and a 4. They actually get multiplied together. So that's n to the power of 12. That's the most complicated rule to learn. And the last one here is x to the power of 0. Well, anything, no matter what it is, if it's numbers or if it's algebra, anything to the power of 0 is 1. Let's look at one more example. This is a slightly more complicated one. So I've got 45e to the power of 6, f to the power of 8, all over 5ef squared. So first I'm going to look at my numbers. I've got a 45 and that's being divided by 5. So that just leaves me with 9. I have an e to the power of 6 that's being divided by e. Well, e just means e to the power of 1. So remembering my laws of indices, if I've got a divide, I just subtract the powers. So I'm going to do 6 take away 1, which is 5. So I have e to the power of 5. And then my f's, I have f to the power of 8 and f to the power of 2, or f squared. So again, I'm going to subtract my indices. So 8 take away 2 is 6. So I've got f to the power of 6. Here's 3 questions for you to try. I've gone for one simple one and then 2 that are more complicated and test a few different rules in them. Pause the video and then unpause when you're ready to see the solution. Here's the solutions. So in the first one, we should just be adding the indices together. So that gives me p to the power of 9. In the second one, we deal with this top bit first. So I get 3 times 2 is 6. And then adding my indices, because it's a multiply, that gives me q to the power of 9. And then that's all divided by q cubed. So then my indices now get subtracted from each other. So I've got 9, take away 3 is 6. So I get 6q to the power of 6. And this last one, I have to do 2 to the power of 5, which is 32. And then I have x to the power of 1, so I do 1 times 5, which is just 5. And then I have y cubed, and I need to times that 3 by 5 to give me y to the power of 15. Thank you for watching.